We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order at 5:03.
5:03.
Sorry, 4:03. My bad, 4:03. Sheesh. So, and I know I kind of give you guys a heads up. We're just wanting to go over a few, kind of what's in the pipeline, what we've been working on. Is there anything, that needs to come before the council or discussed in this committee? So, I guess, Melissa, I'll go ahead and start with you.
Okay.
If you want to kind of go through everything, and then we'll move over to Justin.
Absolutely. So I've
Okay.
printed
Thank
off, yeah, it's all yours. I've printed off a few things, just so we can talk from. So the top sheet is just a list of things that are at the top of my pile, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to talk a little in depth about a few of these, but this is just a broad overview. There's a mix of capital projects in here. There's some ordinance development that's in here, and then there's also some other like programmatic things that we have going on. So just to hit some of the high points, the capital projects that are in here include 7 Point Streetscape, and it is bid ready. We'll talk more about it in just a second. Plan development for the next phase of River Heritage. It's not funded, so it's just sitting and waiting for the next step on that. The River Heritage District, which will be a new zoning district that we will implement as part of the Veterans Job Corridor Study. It's about 75% complete. What that will do is it will be added to our zoning ordinance. That's something that will come to the Planning Commission first and then be recommended to you all when that's done. One thing we're really focusing on in that ordinance is a mix of housing types and also neighborhood and general commercial development along Veterans Drive. So, trying to create that impetus through the ordinance, to get people that want to develop in that corridor. Then I have ongoing projects with brownfield assessment and planning. We have several brownfield sites in the area that could benefit from redevelopment, and by looking at those from a brownfield perspective, it opens up the possibility for grant money, as well as redevelopment in the private sector. There are three downtown streetscape projects. One of those I've left off here for College Street, but those 3 projects have been on the books for a while. They all have preliminary engineering and surveying done, just no design development until we have a commitment that we're going to move forward with those projects. From the community development side, we still have our small business economic assistance grants. We are allocating $50,000 to that on an annual basis, and we always spend it. That has been a really awesome program that we created during COVID, and we just carried it through. And lots of job creation has come from that because small business is just so important to Florence. The infrastructure improvements for Veterans Drive. Our next step with that will be preliminary engineering. We have done a cost estimate of probable construction costs for that, because Mayor is working through Adderholt's office and some other congressional offices to see if we can either get in on the fiscal year budget coming up or try to get an appropriation, an earmark, or funneling through a grant, something to try to push that along. That'll be a big project, really big, financially but also for the area. Opportunity zones, those new designations come every 10 years, and those are up for either reappointment or new appointments to those. Both the feds and the state are taking a different approach in how they're going to designate opportunity zones. And for those that aren't familiar, opportunity zones are really more for the private sector. It gives them access to tax credits and abatements through private sector investment if they build or construct, open a business. It's a litany of activity within an opportunity zone. Right now, our opportunity zones sort of overlay with a portion of downtown and then the mall area. There's a list of parameters that we have to follow to nominate those opportunity zones. So once we kind of dig through those technical aspects, then I'll be giving that to the mayor for him to submit to the governor's office to designate those opportunity zones. There won't be as many opportunity zones in this next round as there was in the initial round 10 years ago. So, we'll be doing a whole lot of data-driven, I guess, analysis to choose carefully those zones because Alabama's were, I think, cut in half. So we want to try to get in on that for sure, only because it helps the private sector out so much. And then the last thing, working on an ordinance for data centers. I know when you all went to National League of Cities that probably Alabama League as well. It's been a big topic of conversation in how municipalities, handle data centers in terms of their footprint and then all of the things that come with that, the noise and just abating all of the, I guess, the things that people don't want to see or hear when it comes to data centers. So that'll be something that'll be coming as well down the pipe. So behind that list, the first page you have is a project status report on 7 points. No, you're okay. All this is an in-depth look at what's going on with that project, but to sum it up, like I said earlier, it's ready to go to bid. This is a project that could be phased if we needed it to. We could, phase it by blocks if that, works better. We are looking probably in the 550 to 575 a block, 1,000 per block. But that's getting, new sidewalks, looking at all the infrastructure. We've already talked to engineering and water, wastewater about any needs that they have, because I know we've had, quite a few issues up there. All of the infrastructure elements of the project have been reviewed by city departments and everyone has signed off on it. So right now it's really just a raffling. That's really all it is.
Is Gilbert Ford go where? Go north on Wood, Gilbert Ford's where it ends, where it fire up.
Right there. It's actually that next street that's Polk Avenue that we're going to convert to one-way.
Okay.
We're going to convert it to one-way going toward Royal. So you won't be able to come up from Royal. You'll have to I'm sorry. You can come up from Royal. You cannot turn left or turn, this one would be east, down to Royal.
Okay.
Because if you were going to do that, then you could have done that in the intersection.
Yeah.
So we're going to, because there's conflicting movement there and there's not enough room for 2 cars to pass. So we're going to convert that to one-way. That was something the engineering department, really wanted. And then I think the other big thing, other than just streetscape in general and upgrading the infrastructure, the city owns a huge parking area that is where the B. Perry copier sells off of Rural Avenue. It's sort of in front of Habitat for Humanity. We own that parking area and we have a small park that's dedicated there to someone. Cannot remember who it is, but someone, there's a historical marker. We have an opportunity to rework that parking and add considerable amount of parking for 7 points. Once we rework the crosswalks, then once you leave that parking area, you would have a direct access crosswalk-wise from that parking area across Royal into the district. We would have all those crosswalks would be, connected either by sidewalk or by sidewalk, and also signalized. So that way, if you did park in that lot and you wanted to go to Walk and Roll, for example, or to the bank, then you have signalized pedestrian priority to get across. So if we're gonna offer up that parking, then we need to offer up a way for, people that park there to get to where they wanna be.
Right.
Because we can't increase the on-street parking, we just don't have enough right of way. The Veterans Corridor infrastructure improvements is the next thing behind that, and what I've included in there for you is the summary that shows, tells you a little bit about the corridor and where we, or what the reason, I guess, the analysis on the corridor and why we, went with the decrease in the number of lanes. And then on the very back of that, it shows the project area and some of the conceptual drawings that we have for that. And then, hey Bernie. And then I also included the project status report for the North Court Roundabout, just because it has such a long history as the last one. And that is one that was bid ready and then it was scrapped after that. But there was a lot of discussion about it, so I wanted to include it as well. I think I hit everything as good as possible.
We get any updates on the roof for that gazebo?
Yes, I got one more estimate today, or quote, and I'm waiting on one more. So once we get the three, there's a couple of things I want to look at. We can at least get an idea of what we're looking at cost-wise, but I also want to look at the amount of labor as well and to see what direction we need to go in terms of repairing it, if it's something we can do or if it's something that we're going to need to bid out. It'll really depend on that labor cost, though, that's associated with it. So we're making progress. People are busy and it's hard to get the information.
I did have a question about these streetscapes.
Mhm.
I mean, not just necessarily 7 Points, but is there any way to get some kind of federal funding and stuff like that? Grants or something?
Yeah, so what's called the Transportation Enhancement Program, and it's been called, each administration renames it, and it's generally after the transportation bills, the THUD bill. Federal Highway Administration requires states to set aside 10% of their federal allocation, transportation allocation, for non-road projects. So not paving, it can be for pedestrian access, it can be for bicycle access. It can't be for looped trails, but it can be for surface-related transportation for pedestrians and bicycles. Here, I think the double-edged sword with that money is, first of all, it's competitive in Alabama. So you've got the entire state that's competing through ALDOT for it. It's also 80-20. So that 20% cash match looks great to municipalities until you are forced to build it to federal standards. When that happens, you start to see your cost escalate. And the only thing you can use the money for would be the sidewalk portion, but the entirety of your project has to fit to the federal standards. So our streetscape projects, when you look at the overall cost of them, they usually sit somewhere between that $2 and $3 million mark. When you start applying the federal requirements to it, we have to have an on-site civil engineer for the entirety of the project. So that alone, if it lasts a year, you're in the $100,000 range. So when you start adding up those costs and comparing it to what you could have built it for without using the federal money, we're not any better off than if we just did it ourselves or, used our own bid process than to have to use the federal procurement process. Now, we have used it before. When the projects get in that $4.5 to $5 million range and up, then it becomes a little more fruitful for us because our cash match plus all of the requirements we have to meet from the feds can generally offset, if we were paying 100% of the project cost. So it's one of those things, not all grants are great.
Mhm.
Some of them, can cause you more headaches or more money than it's worth, but it is available. At a, again, it's a competitive
Right.
program.
So my question, out of the 7 Points area, is none of that historic out there?
In the business
Being able
district,
to-
no. There are historic districts in some of the residential areas, but not in the business district.
I mean, Sam Phillips and y'all hear about it, is that all the time, so I didn't know
Yeah.
what that play.
His house is there, but it's privately owned.
So the Park wouldn't qualify for any grants or anything like that, perhaps?
Not that I'm aware, I'm not aware of any park grants for that. But the Pocket Park, the way that it's designed, is such a the finance piece of that is so small compared to the rest of it. I think that's where some of the phasing comes in. So if we were able to do, and I have no idea what the funding looks like, but if we were able to do maybe the gazebo area, the parking lot, and the Pocket Park, that could be one phase. And then let the street segments could be, separate phases or combined phases. I mean, it really just is a matter of, how much is available to allocate. But that's just a project that could be easily phased, whereas a lot of the streetscape projects aren't, but that one could be easily phased. And I think phasing would also help too with, traffic control and disturbance to the business owners as well. We wouldn't want to shut down, obviously, that entire project area. So I think phasing would be a good idea anyway. But no matter what, we're going to repair the roof that's on the gazebo regardless of what's in the plans, especially with the hole that's in it now. We just need to go ahead and replace that and then go from there.
Is the gazebo's a full replacement?
No, just the
It's
roof.
just a repair?
Just the
Well,
roof.
I-
Well,
what I'm saying-
roof
the
repair.
roof-
Yes, for
But-
now.
Repair the roof, not replace it.
Well, if it can be. I don't know if it can be.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I think there could be potentially rot in some of it, but I have not done an inspection on it, so I don't know.
And that cannot, we talked about that a while back, it cannot be sold or given to one of the adjoining property owners. Was that formed, there's some nuance with that, right?
It actually has grant funds attached to it
Grant
from
funds.
before I came to the city, so it's.
And that restricts what we can do.
Yeah, and that has come up several times with the owner of that antique store that's there, even prior to that when it was a restaurant. And it makes great sense because they could do some outdoor dining, but it was something that Billy looked into and we weren't able to grant it or sell it because it had grant funds attached to it.
I don't have anything else.
Well, and it might generate more questions, so y'all know just to reach out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, this is great.
Sure, of
There was
course.
some of the funding that you and I got from direct appropriation. There's a different plan that we're working on as opposed to this. So this is kind of taking another back seat to
Okay.
another project that we meet on this week, Todd. I think it's tomorrow afternoon. So a greater priority is the Pine Street Bridge replacement with something else as opposed to this. So there may be some money there to help us replace that bridge. To be determined. I think the whole Pine Street corridor is more of a priority even than that is. As bad as it is, we don't have any wrecks there because everybody has to slow down because nobody knows what to do. So the good thing is there's not a lot of crashes.
Yeah.
If they are, they're very low speeds.
Yeah, this may be an engineering question, but I get faced with and asked about consistently the crosswalks. Even though we're not getting ready to do any reconfiguration, can we get them painted? The crosswalk, the the stripes and whatever, because I get
Anything
that,
like at 7 points?
Yes.
I'll send that the message.
I get that question asked constantly. I mean, it wouldn't make sense to do major stuff and then you're gonna tear it up, so
Right.
even if we could get it
Yeah, even just
painted
would be
and
good,
make the
yeah.
visibility come back,
Yeah.
that would be a safety measure.
And then in the project, we can do the thermoplastic so that it lasts longer than just the paint.
You're up, Dusty.
So what we'll have coming up, of course, y'all aware of the building code changes, where we will, submit to y'all to be, to move to the 2024 ICC technical codes, which would also be the 2023, National Electrical Code. There's quite a bit of changes, the last time we adopted codes was 2003. I was 14 when that happened. So, it's been a while since we have, since we've done that, but significant changes with, improved fire safety that we have learned over the past, 20 years that we can improve on. Back in 2003, carbon monoxide detectors were not required in houses with fuel burning appliances. So now they will be, which is a major thing for us. Also, we look at increasing our arc fault and ground fault as far as electrical goes. We were very limited in 2000, which would have been the 2002 NEC, with arc fault was only required in bedrooms. Now it expands on that, and what the arc fault does is if it detects an arc in the wiring system at any point in time, it kills the power right there. And so a lot of times you get an arc, but you don't trip the breaker, and then so that'll help us prevent hopefully a lot of structure fires from happening because of arcing that we're unaware of. Ground fault, of course, is to keep you from getting electrocuted. If you drop something in some water, it's got to find ground somehow. That ground fault will kill the power instead of power going through you. So that's what we got with building codes, just improvements on that, things that we've learned as far as wind speed, where we adjust for better safety when we have high winds. We've increased that. Some stuff we've learned on fire separation for apartment complexes that better. What we do is we contain the fire better with improvement on the building codes instead of it spreading over into other apartments and causing a lot of damage. As soon as we get those in place, I've already been in touch with ISO and we will jump into an ISO audit. So what happens then is, because we've been under the 2003 code, we have not been under an ISO audit. So what happened is we go into an ISO audit. There's the paperwork.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What will happen is we show that we have adopted the newest codes. That's what we're enforcing is the newest codes. It'll evaluate our inspectors, which they are all certified. Everybody's got certification. They're all good to go, and evaluate how our department does things. We should get a very high rating on this ISO audit. So what that does for the city of Florence is now your insurance premiums drop. So that'll get us back in that and improve insurance premiums for the city of Florence, where it hadn't been in the past because we have not been involved in the ISO audit due to the older building codes. The other thing that you will have coming will be tomorrow. Notices will go out for demolition of structures. So they go out tomorrow. Publicly, I can't tell you what those are until they go out. So because they have to have opportunity to receive their notice before I publicly say, hey, these are the addresses of the houses that are going through.
Can you tell us how many?
There are, I believe there are 11 or 12
Okay.
that will go through.
That's
But-
limited based on available funding, right?
Yes, yes. And so they will
You
go
still
through.
can't do anything until you hear back from them, correct?
I'm sorry.
You still can't do anything until they have an opportunity.
Yes, so that's a possibility. If we have an appeal that comes up, the appeal will come to y'all and you will make the decision on whether to accept the appeal or deny the appeal. If there is no appeal, the state law says that they have agreed with the position of the city to demo the property, and you will just approve the demolition of structures.
That's happened before.
Yes.
Appeals.
Yeah, we have had an appeal before. Once that happens, then we'll start the whole process to demolish those structures and make sure that the lots are taken care of. And then after that, we will assess the cost to the city as a lien on that property. So you will also be approving the lien costs that we send to you, which that work is done by the street department. We go by federal rates of what it costs to tear down the house. We don't try to make money on the houses, we just try to get rid of the structures, so. I think that is all that I have. We're working on ways to improve how we operate, to make it a little better for contractors to work with us and have us streamline that process so we can get development going quicker. And so that's kind of in the works as well.
Okay. I did have a question on the, well, I guess it's really more of a statement, but you can back me up on this. Actually, I'm not even gonna be there for the vote of the building codes. That's next week,
Is
or
it coming
well, it's
up?
the next meeting,
Okay.
and I'm out of the country, so.
Council trip.
Yeah, I'll cancel, yeah. No, but, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, this is a big benefit for our citizens, especially with their insurance,
Yes, so.
their home insurance.
Yes, your home insurance, the premiums would drop because they're based off the 2024 codes then, but you're also looking at the 2003 code did not involve any type of energy efficiency as well.
Mhm.
So you look at lowered costs of utility bills and energy costs.
Yeah.
With the new codes going into place.
And I also know, like, in your policy, if you have building code upgrades built into your policy, then your insurance will actually pay for the upgrades. I mean, obviously with roofing, what the building codes call for, the insurance has to pay for that to be upgraded. So it's really, really, really good. A little bit more on the ISO, because I know you and I were talking, and so after the audit, how does that look as far as the system and how it's ran and how we utilize it?
So what happens is when we do the ISO audit, it will be set that it goes through the insurance companies and it's sent out to, we are under the ISO audit, this is our score that the city of Florence falls under. So then insurance premiums for residents will be, and commercial structures will be based off of that score that the city of Florence has
Okay.
automatically.
Okay.
The insurance companies know that automatically?
Yeah,
Or
so-
do you have to inform them? What's that? I mean,
No,
like, I'll
so-
be picking the phone up, calling my, hey, you know we
No, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're not going to call you and say, "Hey,"
Right.
but ISO will send out all that information to the insurance company
To all of
saying,
them.
"Yes," to all of them
Because
saying,
the insurance agent or the insurance companies have to, they are informed by the ISO. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's good, right? That's great. You got any questions?
So once you pass it, how soon do you get an answer or we get something back knowing that that we would have it?
You're talking about the ISO
Yes.
process. So as soon as we have our stuff submitted to them, so it's a pretty lengthy process that I have to go through and evaluate.
Months?
No. Probably maybe a month process at the most, because I have to go through and evaluate all of our processes at the building department, all of our inspectors, how our permits work, all our codes, certifications, everything has to be submitted to them. So it's just me having the time to get that together and get it sent back to them. So I'm going to say probably about a month for us, and then they will submit us our score back based off of the information they receive.
And then typically, how long is it once all of that they notify insurance company?
As soon as we get the score.
Okay. I just don't want to check on that.
Just, we had talked before about the new building codes. Is there a grace period or how quickly do those go in? Because are there, I mean, the question is, are there developers or are they bidding on, are they pricing out jobs right now using the existing code? And then once we approve it, does it automatically go straight to it? So they bid, hey, I'll build your house for, $100,000. And now we've gone to a new code their cost has gone up to build it, and they've already committed to a certain amount, is there a grace period, or how long, when does it go into effect?
Yeah, so
And how do we educate the
so
developers?
when it happens, it will go into effect immediately, but we have a grace period for, let's say you started a project before it went into effect, or you let's just say for a commercial building or a residential building, you have to submit drawings for us for new construction. If those drawings are dated prior to that, then they would fall under the past building code. Now, I will say this, most developers are not building by the 2003 code. They're either at minimum the 2015, some 18, some 21. It's just we could only enforce the 2003. So it's not going to be a big change from them. A lot of them is already doing the 21, which is not big changes between the 21 and the 24. So it's not going to be a big difference for them. But if it comes down to, hey, I based this off of, this was not required in the 24. If they started their project before July, that date that they go into effect or we adopt them, then we're going to say, okay, you can build that based off of that code.
I don't know what the best way to get word out that, hey, we moved to that. I mean, other than.
Well, there's been a notice in the paper for how long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
60 days, isn't it?
You've been,
I've seen
Yeah,
it.
all right, you're looking for those things. All right.
Probably the social media, of course, as well,
Yeah.
whenever we get those adopted. But they can call us. We can work with them however we need to.
Most of them already know. I mean,
It's coming, it's
yeah,
coming,
and,
okay.
and, you know, and a lot of people are happy about it too.
Mhm.
A lot of the contractors that I talk to are very, very happy about it. I mean, I had a competitor call me saying, hey, when we need to get the codes upgraded. And I'm like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Like, you know, the public notice is out right now. I think in July, it'll come before the council. So, and they're really, really happy about this.
We've heard the same thing on the
Yeah.
developer side.
So,
It's good for them.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, really good. So I've got one more question, because I don't really know and this goes to the Airbnb, all that. And I know you had a conversation today, and so if you could just walk us through this and what are the steps? What needs to happen?
We need to adopt a fee schedule. So we had mentioned this before. I've got an email I'm getting ready to send over to the mayor so we can get it, and it will come before y'all to adopt the official fee schedule. We just have to have that adopted and placed into Chapter 5 of the ordinance so we can issue those permits. Without the fee schedule, I can't issue a short-term rental permit because I don't have anything that is documented what we charge for.
Right. So we have an ordinance where you can have like short-term rental, correctly or correct?
There is an ordinance,
Okay.
yes, but until the fee schedule is adopted, no permits or business licenses can be issued. Until that can be done, there's no enforcement.
That was 3 years ago when
Almost 4 years ago.
So we're waiting on that fee schedule. It's going to be is it the building permit fee,
Yes, so it'd be, yes, the building permit fee.
CO fee?
Yes, certificate of occupancy, but it'll
And a
be
business
a,
license.
yes, so it'll be a initial fee because it'll include your first time inspection on the property, and then you'll have an annual fee for renewal for the short-term rental.
And the fire inspector, how often does he have to inspect annually?
They're gonna do annual,
Yes.
yes. We
And
would
that's
do
written into
an,
the ordinance.
Is there a fire inspection fee? I mean, because you're talking about adding a whole bunch of work to you as a
Yes.
fire inspector, whatever. Of course, we offset that by
Mhm.
the revenue coming in, but I mean, that's a lot of work.
Yeah,
It
There
is.
extra work,
absolutely
yeah.
should be a fire inspection fee.
yeah.
I mean, hopefully the fees offset the cost of any new personnel. I mean, I would expect it to exceed that. but-
Yeah, so before I send you the email, I'm reevaluating fee schedule to make sure we align with other cities, of course, on their fees, but we need to make sure that we are covering when we do our annual fee, even if that's not taken by fire, that we are taking into account that they're getting their part to go out annually.
Okay, so this might be a dumb question, but there's no lodging tax or anything that's added.
Yes,
There
They
is?
have to pay.
They have to,
They're
okay,
required to pay.
okay.
And that is remitted. So there's,
No,
okay.
you've got this. That's
Okay.
where I was wanting you to go with it.
There are in excess of 100 different platforms that you can rent
Mhm.
or obtain a short-term rental through. So most of those, the platform itself collects the lodging tax and remits that to the state. And all lodging tax is remitted to the state, whether it's a hotel, motel, a bed and breakfast, or a short-term rental.
Okay.
It all goes to the state. The state then divvies it up. Actually, they send it to the county, and then the county issues our portion of it, tourism's portion of it. It's split up through a number of entities. With short-term rentals, you do have some platforms where the owner of the property has to collect the tax, and then they will have to remit that. We made concessions for that when we wrote the ordinance by bringing in what's called host compliance through Granicus. And they will monitor that tourism or that lodging tax remittance for us, as well as permit, license, fire inspection. So they're not only looking at those that are in compliance, but they are scouring the internet multiple times a day, looking for properties that are within the city limit, the confines of the city limits, and anybody that's not in compliance, they can notify the city through that system. And police department has access to it. When you register your short-term rental, you have to have an emergency contact, so the police department has access to that in case a call were to come in. Building department has access, city clerk's office has access. So, and we can also monitor it, I guess more on that, on the financial side or the tax side to see, what we're bringing in and how the fee structure is working. Because in the future, if that fee structure, needs to change, then we have data backing that up to tell us that we need to adjust this.
Okay. That's good.
So we built all of that into the ordinance when it was written.
Okay.
And what this also does, and I don't want us to get ahead of ourselves, but I think it's worth mentioning, it gives us a template for if we want to do the same thing for long-term rentals. Because short-term rentals, they're looking for that revenue, and so those properties are immaculate. You never have any issues. You might have some tenant issues, but you're never going to have an issue with the property.
Yeah.
Long-term rentals is a different story.
Yeah.
But we could use that same boilerplate and apply it to long-term rentals as well.
Okay.
Have the fee schedule built in. The whole idea is that you are, you're protecting those that are doing it right from substandard competition.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I know I got a phone call about it today, and I didn't know what was going on. I know this, I remember when it was adopted, but then nothing, we had a Airbnb, and we came down here to try to get a business license and everything. Nobody knew where to go,
Right.
Nobody knew what to do, and so, I don't know. I got one more question. You got anything on this? Okay. I got one more because I want to change subject just for a second. Maintenance on I'm not even going to talk about City Hall. I'm not even on all of our, how can we develop a maintenance plan for all of our buildings, all of our properties, to ensure this doesn't happen again?
So we are looking at an asset management software that will tie in also with our permit software, and everything will have its own asset tag. So it'll keep up with how long has it been since this has been maintained. Everything will have an asset. So every HVAC unit, even IT will use it for, computers, where are they at? Here's their asset. How long have they been in service? We change that out. Even if we got down to fixtures that we use every day for even if it comes to plumbing fixtures or whatever we need to maintain, will be assigned an asset and will be logged, and we can go back and see, what maintenance has been done on these. Does it need to be maintained? where we at on age, is it time to replace it before we run into the big cost? And, but that is something that we're looking at doing for
Okay. And I guess that'll fall under you, right? Completely.
We have like a maintenance, a building maintenance employee now, who's about to retire. He wouldn't even with us long, we would have designated, at least one individual, not more, who could do the small repair stuff.
Will it be their responsibility to kind of keep up with, maybe take that off of his plate a little bit of like getting other contractors in to do the maintenance on the bigger items, or would that still fall under?
No, I mean, I think we need to look at that at
Yeah.
some point, because you're tired of everybody calling you all the time. At some point, right, you know, where if it does, somebody does an evaluation. You know, the animal shelter had, you know, some drainage issues out there, and I was like, hey, go take a look at that. And he came back and said, you really need, you know, hey, we could probably do this job, but it'd be cheaper to get somebody. I mean, he is doing some of that stuff. But,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, there's room for it to go down.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just feel like, and I know we're in a situation we're trying to rebuild a lot of the structure and everything, to how things operate, and obviously I can relate to all the maintenance stuff. So, and I get it, and so that's why I was just curious. But I think that's great. You know, once we can set everything up into a program and really know where we're at, that'll be great. All right. You got anything? You good? Sydney, you got anything? Anybody else? All right. I guess we're good then. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. A lot of great information. Thank you.
Yeah. I have a city hall story from this morning.
There is a city hall story.
Oh, do we need to? I mean, there's only two of us.
The day started with somebody pulling on the front door of
Did it
City
fall
Hall,
off?
shattering the door. It fell all the way off the hinge, I guess.
It opened the door and the metal on the door broke, and if it would have been for the sway bar, it would have fell on top of it.
Thankfully, she's was
Yeah.
not hurt, but yeah, that's what.
They just opened the door on short court. I got a call at 8:02 this morning. The lady opened the door for the entrance, and the door fell off the hinge and almost fell on top of her. It's just the bar caught it from falling on top of her. It's something every.
Fantastic.
Spotting us.
The building is fine.
That's true. That is true.
It's mad.
It's mad.
Use it sprays water at us.
Oh, man.
Yes, it does. It's leaking. The building is constantly leaking. Thank you very
Our
much.
favorite thing to play is what temperature is it gonna be in the office today?
It was hot in here.
It was burning up
It was
in
like a
here.
sauna.
When we first walked in.
Yeah.
Already.
The-
It was
earlier-
cold
earlier
here last
this-
night for the meeting.
Earlier this
Freezing.
week, the other side of City Hall, where the good air conditioner is, was down.
Yeah.
And I was walking Ricky Williams around, and I'm walking like,
You could-
what
it
is
just
going
hits you.
on?
All of a sudden, yeah.
And they're like, yeah, this is the good side of the
Yeah.
air conditioning building. So it was down. Well, CNH came out pretty quick to get on it. So it was not the chiller fed cool
Yeah.
side. It was the other side of the building. So we got it fixed.
Yeah.
It feels better. Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
chiller's
there's gonna be a
just.
bill coming in for that.
Yeah.
The chiller's just wherever it wants to be, because so our chiller system is run off of an old XP computer system that there's not an updated version of it. And so IT won't let me plug that computer into our network because it can be easily got into. So the chiller just does whatever it wants to do.
Fantastic.
It's chilly.
Thank you.
Hey, thank y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.